Hi there, my name is Derrick Clough. I'm the author of Leadersh, How to Cut the Crap and Lead in the Modern Workplace. I'm here today to read a short chapter from my book. Most of my chapters are fairly short. This one's particularly short. It's one that I like. It's called The Rule of Thirds, and it goes like this. In a lot of course, leadership is about leading change. Lord knows I've had this drummed into me. If you think about it, if things are fine and nothing needs to change, who needs leaders? You don't need to have executive level people in charge or managers even. You can simply have administrator types running the show by applying standard operating procedures and the like, with all due respect to these good folks who will always have a need for. But change is inevitable. Companies must adapt or die. Meanwhile, people want to stick to the routines and way of doing things. It's human nature, and we just can't help ourselves. Our habits die hard and likely always will. Indeed, people are good if not sticking to routines, habits, staying within comfort zones. We hate it when someone comes along and moves our cheese, as Spencer Johnson puts it, makes us, or even suggests we do things differently. Change is scary and threatening for people, hence the need for leaders. So our job as leaders is, in a big way and increasingly so, about getting people to buy into change. The question is, how do we go about it? As a starting point, I find the thirds rule helpful. It works like this. Whenever you try to implement something new, something that entails your folks having to step outside their comfort zones and do things at least a bit differently, you'll get about a third of them doing things pretty much the way you want, almost right away. You'll get another third bought in, but only with a fair bit of coaching and follow-up. Without these things, it won't happen. But if you put in the work, it usually will. We'll cover what this might entail in a later chapter on coaching. The remaining third of your people will almost assuredly never totally buy in. You can pick off one or two of the naysayers here and there if the stars align for you, but it's a bit of a crapshoot. No guarantees here. In my experience, you can entrench the change you're trying to implement if you can bring the first 2/3 with you. If you have some savvy and some luck and can get some of the people in the last third coming along with you, you're golden. Without solidifying that first 2/3 though, you're sunk. You need to start with and focus on them, especially the middle group, intensely. Some organizations really do need to have absolutely everyone bought in. Imagine the catastrophe that might happen at NASA, for example, if teams in their entirety weren't pulling in the same direction. But human nature being what it is, as I allude to above, unless we're literally talking about life and death situations, it's pretty unrealistic to expect to have everybody toe the line. The good news is that very few successful leaders do, in fact, get all of their people marching in the same direction. I call BS on the ones who claim they do. All you have to do is look at the world of sports to see it. Do the New England Patriots, New York Yankees, or Barcelona at any one time not have disengaged, disgruntled, or even downright pissed off players playing for them? Of course they do. But they have a good core of players buying in, at least 2/3, I can guarantee it. And so they consistently win. No, you won't bring each and every one along, nor do you need to. Focus on bringing an essential core along, and don't stress too much about the Luddites you leave behind. I hesitate to suggest you simply cast them aside, label them haters, and ignore them, however. They have a purpose, and as people value, which we'll explore next. That's it. Thanks very much for listening.